Thank you for visiting the Coin Lady channel again. Breaking news, Russia's finance minister has suggested that the BRICS countries may use a blockchain-based digital currency payment system in the future. Everything is plainly seen now. My channel has been emphasizing this point for quite some time. Listen, I want you guys to understand that the train hasn't even started if you are sitting there and you are so dissatisfied and irritated with XRP right now. The train has already departed from the station, so it makes no difference what Rosie Rio says. No, it hasn't. Pay close attention as we examine the current situation in detail. It seems like digital currencies and blockchain technology are going to be the foundation of new payment systems. You could be wondering what the ideal payment and settlement currency is. Also, XRP is good for liquidity. The case for XRP's utility is becoming more compelling daily. I mention this a lot, doesn't it? The price action can be scrutinized and dismissed as awful indefinitely. And you know what? You're circling back to the same old point. We're all aware that XRP's price behavior is terrible. We are still, however, in a Bitcoin market. There is no XRP market here. A utility market is not where we are. Meme coins are being pumped to oblivion in this market, where individuals are transferring money to arbitrary X wallets and crazy sums of money are being put into meaningless projects. I have a question for you. In your opinion, is that a mature market? No. That is why I believe that we are in the early stages, and that significant market movement toward integrating this technology into foundational financial services may not occur for years. Does that, however, imply that substantial price movement on XRP won't occur for years? No. Those lofty projections of, say, $4,050 or $100 in 2030 are, in my opinion, a long way off. However, behind the scenes, things are changing. Plus, I keep saying this, but I believe that all XRP holders should diversify their holdings into short-term investments. If you want to be successful in this market, that's how you do it. Your XRP is safely stashed away. In fact, you could even forget you have it. Never lose sight of the big picture and where we are in relation to everything else. Aside from this, we also received news on Putin, who has stated that the dollar will disappear if Middle Eastern oil producers cease using it. This is a fairly bold claim, to be sure. I mean, I have said this very thing before, didn't I? When we examine the US dollar closely, we find that the only thing limiting its true worth is the petrodollar arrangement. Is there any need to be concerned? Though, simply put, the narrative that permeates headlines and other forms of media coverage is that the US dollar has crashed and burned. In fact, it's completely false. Why? Why? Because America is prepared, and that will be taken into consideration. On the other hand, the BRICS summit will also be attended by Saudi Arabia, since those are the stories that were published. I believe I've reported on Saudi Arabia's membership in BRICS on at least 2 occasions. However, each time we reach that point, another piece appears soon after, or even days later, stating that Saudi Arabia has not formally joined the BRICS. The BRICS continue to pique their curiosity. Nevertheless, they remain seated in this very spot. What will happen if we join, or what will happen if they join, is something they're discussing. And what about the alternative choices? In terms of the possibility of connecting BRICS. For instance, Saudi Arabia is considering a number of alternatives. Because it needs both BRICS and the West for support, that kingdom strives to keep a balance between the two. The timing of the BRICS invitation is perfect, since Saudi Arabia is actively courting tourists. Although the West must back the liberalization of the kingdom, BRICS membership could strengthen confidence. Do you hear me? Does this matter at all? Ultimately, I remain skeptical that it does. Why? For one thing, I feel like we're relying too much on the BRICS actions. Our destination, though, seems to be slipping our minds. Do you agree? This whole thing is a sham. As I've said before, a watchdog group just released a study claiming that the BRICS countries' central banks were protecting the US dollar by purchasing gold. One more time, this is the story they'd have you believe. However, they are incorrect. We dollarized the D. Just the technique and more gold on hand is sufficient. A computerized system backed by gold is the end result of all this work. There's more to it than meets the eye. I've already mentioned and addressed the fact that many BRICS countries are beginning to amass substantial gold holdings. However, everyone is taking a look and claiming that the sanctions are the reason behind their actions. The dollar's demise is their goal in doing this. A lot of people are pointing fingers at different reasons as to why they're doing this. The reality that the fiat system is entirely dysfunctional, meanwhile, is being disregarded in this context. All right. This article or post by Mike Christo 8 appeared in my timeline. This is precisely what we are experiencing, both audibly and visually. Since the yuan is supported by gold in the IMF basket of SDRs, it is important to keep this in mind. You can expect 95% of what you desire and 5% US dollars in the new SDR basket. The World Bank would thereafter be renamed the Chinese World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund will be merged into the BRICS New Development Bank. Indeed, the renminbi will eventually supersede the US dollar as the preeminent global currency for oil-backed payment settlements made possible by renminbi internalization. For that reason, China will increase its gold price to 2,300. After China's currency, gold, paper contracts, and derivatives implode next week via the SG2, the country will reunite with Taiwan peacefully. Just try to wrap your head around how absurd this post is. The reason this post is here is because it accomplished those figures. Isn't that right? It's simple to speculate about the future, talk a little about what might happen, and incite anxiety. However, our destination is not at all related to this. And you could be wondering, what gives you that impression, Nick? Isn't it just plain old simple? True strength does not exist in any fiat currency. Every single fiat currency is just absurd. You have a post here, by the way. This is from January. If BRICS were to establish their own reserve currency, it would have a strong case to replace the dollar. However, as seen